You guys hear me? Give me a yes if you can hear me. Because last week some people were complaining they couldn't hear me. Okay, good. I have 3 people. And only 2 are responding. Okay, let's go on. So last week I gave you guys a homework to do. Did you guys do it? And if you did, I want you guys to give me at least 5 pairs in the chat box quickly. If you guys did your homework, can you give me 5 pairs quickly, so we can continue? Just 5 currency pairs from the 27. I'm waiting. 5. Ben and Joe, I'm waiting. Upon, I know you were not there last week, but if you did watch the recording, I gave them an assignment to go and check the 27 possible currency pairs that can be traded. That's what I'm asking them about. I want them to give me at least 5 of them before we go on. Ben and Joe, I'm still waiting. Okay, Joe, I'm waiting for yours. Mr. Joe, I'm waiting. Joseph, are you there? Okay, it seems Joseph is missing, so we'll just carry on. Well done, Ben. However, Ben, you did the homework and well done. Okay. Um, I wanted to correct just if something on the one that you gave me. On your one, you've put GBP EUR, and there's another one, um, CAD AUD. There is a correct way of putting the currencies. So when you are pairing them, okay. So when you are pairing the currencies, there is a specific way of pairing them, or they come in a specific way. So you can't put any country's currency first, because there's a standard way of doing it. So the AUD USD is right, but the GBP EUR is supposed to be the other way around. So it's supposed to be Euro GBP. I've put on here some of them, not all of them, but some of them, so you can check. So the one you put for the third one, which is CAD AUD, is supposed to be AUD CAD. So it's very important that you get them right, because if you don't get them right, you're gonna trade them wrong, because the way you've put the card, we call it the card AUD, when you're going to trade on that currency pair. So let's say you're going to buy or sell the card AUD. If you don't put the AUD first and the card second, you're gonna confuse yourself when you are buying and selling it. So try and learn. That's why I gave it as a homework to go and check them. So try and learn the pairs. I will get a proper image and then I'll put it in the group chat so you guys can learn it properly. Because once we go on the chart, once we come on the platform, you're gonna see the ones that I will show you, not the ones like Ben put on the GBP EUR. You wouldn't find it here. There's nothing like GBP EUR on there, but it is Euro GBP the other way around. Does it make sense? So I'll get an image for you guys and you can learn it properly. Okay. And let's go back to what we're going to talk about today. So who trades the Forex market? Last week I did touch on it, just a brief, but I'm going to go on and elaborate it so you understand the Forex market properly. Yeah. So the Forex market is traded by, first of all, the major banks. Okay, Mr. Joe. I'll still wait for your answer anyway, because I want you to participate. So send me your answer whilst I continue. The Forex market is traded by the major banks. So if you look, or if you check online, you can see who the major banks are. We have like the Bank of England, the Bank of China, the Bank of Canada. They all have names, by the way. Those major banks are the ones that trade the Forex market. So on the highest level, they are the ones that actually create the market, if that makes sense. The homework I said to send me the homework I gave you guys. Give me just 5 of them. I want you to give me 5 pairs from the 27 I gave you. I gave you to go and research last week. So just give me 5 of them. Yeah, I'm waiting, and I'll continue with what I was sharing. So as I was saying, the forex at the very top level, you have the major banks. They trade the market as we see it, or they create it. So without the major banks, there will be no forex. So at the very top, you have the major banks, and then you have the small medium banks. So all the banks that we see on our high streets, like Lloyd's, TSB, Santander, Bank of Ghana, wherever the bank is, those are the small or medium-sized banks that also trades the forex market. Yeah, and then below that, we have the brokers. So those people that the small traders, trade through. The small companies that we trade through. So we have companies like, on my platform, we call them IC Market. We will go through them today. We go through the brokers today, by the way. We have the brokers, we have the hedge funds. So a hedge fund is a company that manages people's money. We have the insurance companies. We have the commercial companies like Amazon, eBay. All those people are on the third level of the forex trading. And then on the last one is the retail, which is us, the small flies. So it is a huge market traded by everyone, almost everyone, which is why it is very important to know what you are doing before you enter into this market, because it's not traded by just random individual people. It's traded by top high ranking people who know what they're doing, and their sole aim is to make money off people who don't know what they're doing. So basically, forex is like the transfer of money from people that don't know what they're doing is bank account, to people who know what they're doing is bank account. So for instance, if Mr. Joe, not Joe, but random name, Mr. Joe doesn't know what he's doing, but he wants to trade the forex market, he will join a company, any company, there's lots of them. He join them and then start to trade. Then you have Mr. John somewhere. You have Mr. John somewhere who knows what he's doing, and his sole aim is to get Mr. Joe's money. So Mr. Joe will do something, and then Mr. John will see it as a mistake, and then he will take advantage of it. So Mr. Joe will see that the market is going up. Let me make an example. Okay. So I'm just trying to get you guys to understand the importance of knowing what you are doing before you start. because it is. I'll show you guys a link and you watch it. It is scary. It's not a scary movie. It's scary as in the way they explain how Forex works. But on the other hand, it's not, because like I told you guys, you're gonna think different and you're gonna trade different. So you will be on the other side. So whatever is wrong in the movie that you see yourself as the other person making the money, not the one losing. So let's say Mr. Joe will see the market going down like this, and he'll be thinking, I think if I sell this market, I'll make money. And as soon as he will sell down here, Mr. John, okay, I'll go through yours one. Joe, I'll go through yours in a bit. Give me a second. Mr. Joe will see the market going down like this, and then he will decide, oh, I think I can sell this market and make money. And then he will sell right here where my line is. He's gonna sell this pair, and then as soon as he sells it, Mr. John will be like, yes, I caught a fish. That's a very wrong time to sell. And then Mr. John will buy. As soon as Mr. John buys, the market goes up and Mr. John makes money. Mr. Joe loses money. That's how the market works. So all the major banks, all the institutions that I told you about, that's what they do. They just wait for people to make mistake and then they capitalize on it. So they try. It's like fishing. You put a hook in the water, in the sea or the river, and you just wait for fish to come on it and get hooked. That's what they do. They will try to get people to come into the market, and then they will hook them and then make them lose their money. So again, very important to know what you're doing. So let's go back to, again, who trade the forex market. So at the very top, again, we have the major banks, and I've showed you guys is the central banks. You have the Bank of England, Bank of China, United States. We call them the Fed. We have Bank of Canada. All those countries that we have in the currency pairs that I showed you, those are the major banks. So we have, let me write them down here for you guys. So if you go to AUD, Australia, for example, they have their own bank, the National Bank. If you go to Canada, you have the Bank of Canada. If you go to JPY, which is Japan, they have the Bank of Japan. If you go to New Zealand, we have the bank. You have the Bank of New Zealand. If you go to Euro, we have the Bank of Euro. It's not Bank of Euro, but you guys get what I mean by Bank of Euro. The Central Bank of Europe. That's where the euro is made. We have the GBP and the USA. So all these people, all these countries have their own banks. Those are the major banks that I was talking about. They create the market. They are the market itself. And then you have the medium banks, which is the small banks that we bank with. So we have Lloyd's, TSB, Santander, Metrobank. All those banks also do trade forex, but there's a difference where the major banks are the ones that create the market. So they will create let's say, price. The Central Bank of Europe, yeah, will create euro. The Fed in America will create the US dollar, and then both of them will join to make the Euro USD. Okay, so when you're trading the Euro USD, you're not trading just one currency, you're trading two, but at the same time it's one. It's a bit confusing, but you get it as we go along. You are trading two currencies at the same time, one. So it's a combination between euro and US dollar. So at the top here, you can see euro USD. When you are trading that currency pair, what you are doing is you are actually buying or selling the euro, or you are buying or selling the dollar. Does it make sense? Is it making sense to you guys? Give me a yes if you're getting what I'm saying. Okay. Joe, do you get what I mean? A bit. Okay. I want this topic or this section of Forex to be understood properly, because when we get into more details, it's going to be very important that you know that, let's say for example, every day, can you guys see my screen? Every day there is a news that comes out regarding whatever, for every currency. So here, on here you have currency, and then you have the news that is coming out. So let's say the New Zealand dollar. Yeah, if you are going to buy or sell any of the pairs that you guys have put there, and let me make an example here. Let me take just this pair for example. Let me take just this pair for example. Okay, if I'm trading on this pair, if I'm trading on this pair, and I know that there's a news. So this website, let me tell you about this website. This website is where all the news about every country that's on the forex market comes. They'll put it here. So we have Monday to Friday. Every day there's a different news. So you come to this website, you check what news is about to impact the pair that you trade in. Yeah, we'll go through this later on, but I just wanted to let you guys understand why it's very, very important to understand this concept of how this is arranged, and how every country's bank is different. So AUD New Zealand is two countries. Yeah. So if I come on this website, I can see there's a news on the Royal Bank of Australia. The Royal Bank of Australia is the central bank, which is the major bank. You have Royal Bank of Australia. That is the bank or the major bank that controls Australian dollar. Yeah. And then we have, let me minimize this a little bit. And then we have the, let me choose the New Zealand. Okay, so like I explained earlier, we have at the very top the major banks. Yeah. So every country has got one. So every country from the pairs that we've discussed has got one. So if you are trading a pair like these two, which is the Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar, you will have to know what the Bank of Australia is saying, and you will have to know what the Bank of New Zealand is saying. Not actually saying, but what they are up to. So there's ways to find out. There are websites, there are places to get information about what these two banks are doing. So based on those two information, you will know what the pair so this is the two pairs. So this is the Australian New Zealand dollar. Yeah. So once you know what these two banks are doing, once you know what these two banks are doing or what they are saying, you can know what to do on this pair. Does it make sense? Because they control that market. So if there's a news coming out from them, it's very important because they have the power to control that currencies. That's why I started off with saying who trades Forex, because you have to know who are the main players or who are the main people actually trading. What we do is just profiting from what the banks are doing. So we study the banks and then we know what they're doing and then we just follow them. That's all we are doing. We actually don't create anything. They have created it. They are making the money and we just join. It's like, let's say someone is going for armed robbery. You don't have to know how they rob. You don't have to know anything. You just join them, and then when you're successful, you just share the money. That's how the Forex is. So very important, get to know the pairs, because once you get to know the pairs arrangement properly, when we get into more details about coming onto this website to check the news, that will affect the currencies that we be trading. Yeah. it will make it much easier for you to understand. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to save you guys the long hours of researching, the long hours of studying, um, so that your journey will be, if you want to be a professional, you need um, 10,000 hours of studies before you can become a professional. But my goal is to cut that one into half, so you only do 5,000. Yeah, and for you to do the 5,000, I have to show you guys what to do, where to go, how to do it, so that your journey will not be as long as my one, because mine has been a long one, and I don't want you guys to go through that. So everything that you need to know, which is relevant to the trading, I will show you guys. So the real job will be easier. It's for you to just take your time and learn it, because like I said, there's so much information out there, but they are all not relevant. Some of them are not. So I'll save you guys the short. I'll give you guys the shortcut, and you can actually catch up very quickly. So very important again. Go back and learn the pairs again. Yeah, that was the whole long talk about the pairs. Learn the pairs properly, because when we get a little bit advanced, it's going to be important. So back to what I was discussing. Now we know who trades the forex market. Yeah, so we have the major banks, like I've just explained. We have the medium banks, and then we have the the brokers that we're gonna trade through, which is, at the moment, I'm trading through a company called IC Market. They trade the market as well. And then we have the hedge funds. Hedge funds are companies that actually manages people's finances for them. So you have hedge funds managing people's what do you call it, pension funds. You have people's insurance, people's life savings. Those are kind of money saved somewhere, and they are managers managing that kind of money for them. We call them the hedge funds. They trade with people's money. If you want interest on your money that you've put there, they will trade it for you, and then they'll make money. So the hedge funds actually trade the forex market using people's money. And you have the commercial companies as well. So you have like I explained earlier, Amazon, eBay, um, Facebook. Those are commercial companies where they have headquarters everywhere, because they are international. They have headquarters in different countries, so they have to pay their um, their workers their salary. So then they have to join the market to exchange money to pay their workers, or exchange money to buy inventory, or exchange money to do something for their company to continue. So those are the people that trade the market. And then at the very last button of the trading chain, we have us, which are the smallest. I mean, we are the least. We don't actually affect the market like the first two. So the major banks and the small banks affect most the market. The hedge funds and the commercial companies do affect it, but not as much as the major banks and the medium banks. And then at the very bottom, the traders, the retail traders, which is us, we don't affect the market at all. We just It just flies on elephant's back trying to ride with them. So it's very important to learn. When I started learning straight from knowing what the banks are doing. But there's a specific way the banks or the major banks do their business. They go on about trading the forex. There's a specific way they do, or certain things they do. So that's what I set out to do, or set out to trade. There are so many ways to trade the market. We'll go through that later. There are so many ways, but I think if the banks are making money, I don't know if you guys listen to the news, but sometimes if you hear the salary or the bonus for some of these bank managers is just ridiculous. And sometimes just sit down and think for a second and see why are they getting paid so much money? Um, they must be doing something, or they must be making that kind of money for them to get paid that much. So it's obvious that those banks or those institutions, they are making a lot of money. That's why they get huge bonuses and huge salaries. So our goal is to trade like them, or look at their shoulders, look at their shoulders and know what they're doing, and then we will trade like them. So our goal will be at the end trading like the institutions. So does it make sense who trades the forex market? Can I get a yes? No? Yes. Mr. Ben, yes. Okay. Mr. Opong, is that a yes? Mr. Opong, is that a yes? Do you understand who trades the market? Yes. Okay. Cool. Right, let's go on. So last time I was sharing something about how the forex market is not centralized. Do you guys remember? It's very important to keep that in mind. Um, that the forex market is not centralized, so uh, no one controls it. That's why everybody can like trade it, because it's not controlled by anyone. Okay, so at the very top, we're going through the who trade markets. At the very top, the major banks, they, like I explained earlier, they create a market. They are the market itself. So you have people or entities that actually trade the market to make money. So let me come up here. Too small. So we have different types of participants in the market. So we have the commercial, and then speculators. So we have two participants in the market. Yeah, we have the commercials and we have the speculators, right? So the five categories of traders I gave you guys will come under these two. So if I say commercial, what I mean by commercial is they are in the market for business. They are not there to make money. They are just there because they have to be there. Okay, their job is to exchange money for commercial reasons. And then we have the other people, other type of traders. Those are called the speculators. And the speculators are the guys that are there to trade the market to make money. Okay, so it's very important to understand that not everybody is in the market to make money. Most of them are, but not everybody. So commercial, example of commercial entities that trade the market not for money, but they have to be there, is companies, large companies like Coca-Cola, and Amazon, Microsoft, and I guess you guys know where I'm going with this. So big companies, big commercial companies, they are in the market not because they want to make money. They are in the market because they have to be there. So Coca-Cola will be in the Forex market trying to exchange US dollars for British pound because Microsoft has got, if not for the money, then for what? It's commercial business. They have to be in the market because they have to exchange money to continue with their business activities. So let's say Microsoft wants to buy 10,000 computers for all the companies that they have in UK. Okay, they cannot come into Britain with their US dollars to buy the computers. They have to exchange the money into pounds and then use the money to buy the computers. So then they are in the market not for the money but for business. So they have to exchange because they have business needs. Does it make sense? So they're actually part of the market but not for money. So then they come under commercial. Does that make sense? Okay. So my Amazon example is trying to build a massive warehouse in I think they've already finished. There's a town near us where we live, currently, Tilbury. They're trying to build a massive warehouse where they will use as a fulfillment center. So people will send their goods there. So when they want to carry out such operation, they need money. They need British pounds, but their headquarters is in America. It's an American company. So what they have to do is they will have to exchange their US dollars for British pounds for them to carry on with building that they want to do. So for them to do that, they have to be in the forex market to exchange money. So they are part of the market, but not for the money. Does that make sense? So they are under commercial. So think about all the big companies in the world, like Facebook, Amazon, Twitter, all those huge institutions. They participate in the forex market, but they are there for business, not for money. And then we have the speculators. We have the speculators. The speculators are there to make money. Okay, so the speculators are, I guess you can name some of them, you and me. Not just us, but you have the hedge funds. We have the banks, the not the major banks, the medium banks. Medium banks. We have the brokers. So when I say brokers, it's the companies that we're gonna put our trade, or we're gonna invest through them. That's the companies that will hold our money and then help us to trade the forex market, because we can't directly go to the banks, to Bank of England, to do the trades. So we have to trade through someone called a broker. So they are there to make money as well. So they are speculators. Yeah. And from what I've just showed you, you guys can know that almost 90% of the people are here. 90% of the forex traders are all speculators, and then 10% is just commercial. So there's a huge number of people trading the market to make money, and a few people, a few entities trading the market for business. Yeah. So the hedge funds, the medium banks, the brokers, and they call us retail traders. That's the category we come under. We are the retail traders. We are part of the speculators as well. Yeah. So there is a huge conflict down there. Okay. Everybody's trying. The reason why sometimes they say trading the forex market is difficult is because there's a huge number of people trying to make money from the same market. That's why they say it's difficult, but in my point of view, it's difficult if you don't know what you are doing. If you know what you're doing, it's not difficult at all. Yeah. So again, you learn. All those people, the hedge funds, the media banks, the brokers, and us, everybody lose money. Most of them lose, and they never come back. Some banks, I don't know if you guys had the 2007 2008 market crash. It all started from one bank failing, the Lehman Brothers. And hope Joe doesn't. Joe is too young to know, but I know Ben probably have an idea, and Upon have an idea. It came from one bank failing. So that bank was a huge part of the market. They had a lot invested in the market, not just the forex, but with stocks, with everything. So when a bank like that fails, it sounds like, okay, good, when a bank like that fails, it sends like a shock through I wouldn't say shock, it sends fear. It sends fear to the other banks, and it sends fear to their customers, and it sends fear to the institution. So then everybody start withdrawing their money. And when that happens, then obviously the market is going to crash because no one is willing to invest anymore. And that's what causes the market to crash. It comes from fear, and it comes from one trigger. It takes one bank to collapse the market. And that bank was a speculator as well. They were not commercial, they were speculators. They were trying to make money, and they lost money. So it's a cat and mouse game. One loses, one wins. But most of the time, one person is winning simply because they they know what they're doing. They know when to buy, when to sell, when not to sell. So when we get into rules, which I'll explain, you'll have to take them very serious, because if you don't trade with rules, then you're gonna end up like Lehman Brothers, because you're gonna do something wrong and it will affect your account. Does that make sense? So we are speculators, and under the speculators, we have levels as well. So the banks are the people that makes lots of them, most of the money, because they have connections with the let me get rid of the commercial for now. Okay, so under the speculators, the people that make most of the money is the banks. And the reason why I say the banks makes most of the money is because they have access to the central banks. So a bank like Lloyd's, TSB, they have connections with the central bank. So before any currency pair will move, let's say, for example, this pair, the British pound and the US dollar, before it will move, yeah, the medium banks will already know, simply because they have connections, or they know information about something that this category, the hedge funds, so before any news that will affect the currency pair comes out, not all the time, okay, not all the time, but most of the time, the banks are aware of where the currency pair is about to go. So then they will be the ones that will make most of the money, because they know ahead of time. Okay, so when they know, they can, if I show you this pair, if they know that price is going to drop from where it is, where my mouse is, all the way down here, they will know in advance, and they will make money coming down. And then once it gets to this level, we the retail traders will be like, okay, so it looks as if the bank sold, or the bank showed some steps that they took to sell this market all the way down here. So chances are, if price is to go all the way up back here again, they might try to sell again. So then when price gets up here, we will sell, and then we cross our fingers that it's gonna come our way. Not all the time, most of the time. So if price is to come up here, I wouldn't know it will continue going up or it will turn around. I'll just play probabilities. So we'll get to a stage where we'll understand that trading the market as a retail trader, as this, as a retail trader, is based on probabilities. And the probabilities, you have most of the odds stacked in your favor. Okay, so it's not like I explained earlier in the first slides. Some people trade it because they feel like it's gambling. It's not gambling, because gambling, you don't know the outcome. You just toss a coin and then hope that it's either head or tail. With Forex, it's not gambling because you can actually predict. I would say 100%, but 60-70% predict the market. And if you can do that, you make money easily. If you can predict the market 60%, you can make money. Okay, so if the bank knows ahead of time that they can sell here, they will sell, make the money, and then when it goes up back here, me the retailer, I'll say, okay, I saw that this drop, this is the footstep of a bank selling. So when it gets up here, another bank will try and sell again. So when it gets up there, I will sell too, and then I'll wait. Price will eventually do one thing. It's either it will go up and I'm wrong, or it will come down and I'm right. Yeah. So that's why I said they make a lot of money, because they are ahead of us. Then the hedge funds also make money, but not as the medium banks. They make money based on the account that they trade. So I explained in the first slides, the one we did last week, that if you have an account of if you have an account of £1,000, you can risk £10 and make £30. Sorry, £30 profit. Okay, that's what I explained last week. So with the hedge funds, the advantage they have is they trade like retail traders with a bit more knowledge, or they know more than we do, just a little bit. The advantage they have is they have a lot of money, because it's like they are trading other people's money. So imagine having the pension fund for 20,000 people. Yeah, it's a lot of money. So they have huge access to money. So with that figures, they can make money like that. So they'll risk just 1% of that and then make 3% of the risk. So if they risk £10,000, they're gonna make £30,000 easily, and it's not hard to make it. It's not hard to make that money if you have this as your account size. So it all depend on the amount you have. So the advantage these people have is because they have the something called capital. They have a lot of money. They have access to money. Yeah, that's why they are second on the food chain. And then you have the brokers. Now, these people, the reason why I put them there is because they don't make as much as the hedge funds, but they do make a lot because we, the retail traders, trade through them. So, if we are going to trade the market, we have to have access to these people. At the very top, can you guys see I have this number and I've got IC Market Live 04. So the IC Market is the company that I trade through. So we have different companies that you can actually trade, and those are called brokers, and they make money because you trade through them. You give them your money and then trade through them. So with your money, I won't say they trade our money, but they make money. That's all you need to know. When you get more advanced, you can do a bit of research about brokers, because I don't want to get into that. It's a long, lengthy topic. So they make money because we retail traders have to use them to trade the market. Does that make sense? And at the very bottom is us. So we are the last people on the chain, on the food chain. So there's I wouldn't say a myth, but they say that 99% of retail traders, sorry, 99% of retail traders lose yeah. So they say that 99% of retail traders lose money and only 1% makes money. So it's a very bold statement, and when you are new to this market and you hear something like that, it will put fear in you, because you'll be thinking, okay, so if you're a retail trader, chances are you're going to lose money. Everybody loses money, but the secret of not losing all your money and making is to follow rules. So what you have to do is then trade or do what the 1%. So they say only 1% make money, which is okay. So if you want to make money, you then have to do what the 1% does. Does that make sense? So if 99% of the retail traders, which is the category we are in, loses money, and 1% makes money, then it makes sense to do what that 1% is doing, so we can also make the money. And if you look at the ratio, it's so huge. If 99% are losing and 1% are making, that means that 1% is making a lot of money. Because like I explained earlier, when you are losing, someone is making it. So 99% are losing and 1% is making. That's a lot of money from a lot of people to just 1%. Yeah, so it's very important I know this is statistics, but just keep that in mind that a lot of people lose simply because they don't learn properly, they don't follow rules, they want to do what they want to do, but the 1% follow rules, they know the market, they understand that today's Sunday, I don't have to trade. But you have someone on the 99% category thinking Sunday is the best day to trade, so they will trade on Sunday and then they will lose the money. And then that 1% guy is sitting down on Sunday thinking, today's Sunday, I'm resting. I'm gonna make money Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah. So that's the category that we want to be in, the 1%. If it is true, we want to be part of the 1%. Yeah. So keep in mind, we are speculators, and under speculators, we are the retail traders. And the misconception or the myth or the statistics that they've put out there is that 99% of us lose money and only 1%. Somehow, there's an element of truth in it, because when I first started, I showed you guys how much I've lost earlier last week. When I started, I lost a lot of money, but because I continued, I didn't give up. So now I want to be part of this. So all the money that I lost earlier, I will make it back, and then I'll make more. So then I'll be part of this 1%. The 99% is people that get in, they want to make money quick, they don't follow rules, they lose the money, they can't trade anymore because they don't have any money, or when they lose the money, psychologically affects them so much that they can't trade anymore, or anything. Some of them will just quit, some of them will be a habit, so they will just keep losing, thinking one day they're gonna make it, but obviously they don't change the way of trading, so they keep losing and losing and losing. We don't want to be part of that. Okay, so we want to be under 1% and make money. Does this make sense? This category makes sense? if if this makes sense, give me a yes. Let me know you guys are there. Okay, all right. Yeah, okay. Mr. Pong, is that right? Mr. Pong, is that all right? Cool. Okay, Mr. Pong said it's cool. Okay, let's continue. I hope you're all excited, because I am excited. When I see this thing, I just fall in love. Like, it's crazy when I see the chat, and I see price doing something that I not, I won't say predicted, because you can't predict the market, but if I see the chart doing something that if I see the chart doing something that I've analyzed and I thought it will be like that, then I get excited. So for example, this is just a teaser. Okay, last week Friday, let me see what day this is. Okay, what day was this? 25th of this month. When was 25th? Wednesday. Yeah. Okay. So last week Wednesday. Yeah, very exciting. Last week Wednesday, I did my analysis, which we will be doing. That's where the whole point is to get you guys to understand, and then we move on to onto the chart. Once you get here, you understand. But I did my analysis, and I saw that price will come up here. Wednesday, price was somewhere here. No, actually, not the Wednesday. The Monday. Monday was Monday was 22nd. No, let me see. Monday was 23rd. Yes, price was 23rd. Yeah, price was down here. So this is an example of what we'll be doing. Price was down here. Okay, price was down here, and I did my analysis, and I was like, okay, if price gets up here, yeah, I am going to sell the British pound and buy the Australian dollar. This is the British pound Australian dollar, by the way, the corner. So price was here. All this was not there. So imagine my screen was something like this. Let me open a new one because this one is just not working properly. Okay. Sorry guys, I want to make the chart clear. Okay, so price was here. Price was here. Okay. Okay. Price was here. All right. So on Wednesday, price was somewhere here. Or Monday 23rd, price was somewhere here. And I did my analysis. So I wake up, I get on my chart, I did my analysis, and I was like, if price gets up here, if price gets up here where my line is, I'm going to sell the British pound and then buy Australian dollar. Yeah, and I put my order in. We're gonna learn that too, how to place an order. I put an order in and then I just left it. So I waited, and then on Wednesday, price came to where my line is, and it took my order. So then I bought the Australian dollar. Then I waited, and it went a little bit up again, and you know when when you go to the market and you're going to buy, um, let's say you're going to buy a phone, yeah, you see that there's a discount for 20%. Before you go to the market, there's a discount of 20%. So you actually bought in your mind, you've actually bought it before you got there, because you've made up your mind you're going to buy it. But when you got there and you bought it, within a couple of hours they said, oh, they are giving another extra discount, another 50% discount. Because you want it, you're gonna buy another one. This is just an analogy that I'm trying to do with this trade. So you bought another one simply because they gave a discount, another huge discount. Well, that's what happened here. When price got here, it took my order, and then I said, okay, fine. And then price went up again to this line. Price went to that line, and like I explained, that's a huge discount again. So then I bought another Australian dollar. Then I waited, and it went up again. But this time I said no, I've bought enough. And this is called rules. These are the kind of things that I was explaining that the 99% people don't follow. So you have your rules saying you can buy a certain amount or sell a certain amount. Once you've reached that amount, you don't buy anymore. Okay? So that's what the 1% people do, and the 99% people don't do. Rules. So I could have bought another Australian dollar up here, but my rule says no, I've bought enough. So I didn't, and then I waited and I waited, and Friday 1, between 1 and 8, between 1 and market close, this happened. Price just came down and down and down and down and down till it got here. Yeah, so where price is now, I can say I predicted that price will go up here and it will sell, and then it'll come down, and then I'll make money. And that's exactly what I did. And that's what makes it exciting. When this happens, you actually kind of analyze the market, and then your analysis will come through. So like what you can see now, my profit, I have two targets where I'm taking profit. So one here is showing I'll make a profit of £38 and 52 pence. That's where the line is, and I'm waiting for, because market closed Friday, so I'm waiting for price to come and hit this red line down there. So once market hit that, it will take me out of this trade, the first one that I took, it will take me out because I've taken my profit. I can decide to change my mind and not take the profit there and take it somewhere else, but I want to take my profit there. And that's another rule. You set your target that this is where you're going to take it, and you take it there. Yeah. So I'm waiting for market to open in about 12 minutes. If it will take it tonight, fine. If it doesn't, it will take it tomorrow, fine. I'll just wait. So price will come and hit it, and then I'll make £38.58. Then I have another one which I've predicted, or I'm predicting, that is gonna come all the way down here. Simply because I have analyzed this news, the news for British pounds. We're gonna learn that as well. I've analyzed that the British pound is weak basically by coming here and reading statements from the banks. Yeah, I've analyzed that the British pound is going to be weak for the next couple of weeks. So if that's the case, then I'm selling the British pound and buying the Australian dollar, because I've analyzed that the Australian dollar is going to be strong. Okay, so then I will wait for price to come here. So the first one is there, the second one is there. I'll take my profit here, and then the first one I'll take it down here, and on this one I'll make £116. Yeah, so this is all the Forex is all about. You'll be analyzing, you'll be reading, and then the rest is just patience, because when price got up here, you can see just did up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, and that requires patience. So you have to be patient when you trade, because that's what trading is all about: patience and execution. And then finally, what I was expecting happened, and I'm hoping, not hoping, that within the next couple of weeks it will come all the way down here. Now, when it gets down here, I'll reanalyze it again, because I can see that some banks bought down here because of this movement all the way up there. So I'll analyze it again, and then when it gets down here, I'll do the opposite. I'll now be buying the British pound and selling the Australian dollar. Yeah. So it's exciting. When you get there, you have that feeling, but not until you actually know what you're doing. That's when you start getting that feeling. When you first start, you wouldn't get it, because you'll be doing things in the wrong way. Hopefully, I'll guide you guys not to do that. Yeah, but it will take you time to get the excitement of actually you knowing, because now I'll be showing you that, okay, do this, do that, do that. But it will come to a time that you actually, yeah, it's confusing. I know. A time will come that, for now, I'll be showing you guys that, can you see this? When price gets here, it's gonna turn. The reason why it's gonna turn, you don't know, because you don't have the knowledge yet. Okay, but with time, you will get there and you will actually know why it's turning. I know why this is turning on Friday, because there was a news about the British pound that made the British pound weak. So in that case, if the British pound is weak, you sell it and you buy the opposite currency. So all the British pound currencies, like this is the British pound, this is the British pound Australian dollar. If you look at the British pound against, how do you know the main part? I don't get is when you sell the currency, how you know what currency to buy. Yes, how do you know? Exactly. That's why I was explaining to you guys to actually learn the pairs properly. This learn the pairs properly. Yeah. I told you guys there's 27 of them. Get to know them. Yeah. Learn them. Just know them. Like this is the Australian dollar against the Canadian dollar. That's all you need to know. Okay. So if, for example, let me take the British pound, the GBP AUD. So this is the one I was talking about. This one. This one. Okay. This is the pair that I just showed you guys. Okay. Sorry guys. Okay, so this is the pair I was talking about. Okay. So you have to then know this. GBP is British pound. AUD is Australian dollar. Yeah. If I know that if I know that GBP, the British pound, is weak and the Australian dollar is strong, yeah, I will sell this and buy that. I think let's go through it for today, okay? Let me spend the next 30 minutes and actually take you guys through just this pair, and then hopefully it should clear some questions in your mind. Then what's confusing, so I can add that to the explanation so you actually understand. I understand Joe's question, so I'm going to touch on that. What's confusing for you, Ben? Oh, okay, the analysis. Yeah, we'll go. I'll touch on that too. Yeah, I'll touch on that. Let me show you guys the buy and sell, and I'll touch on yours for the next 30 minutes. All right. Okay. So this is the British pound, Australian dollar. Okay. The British pound is the first currency. The British pound is the first currency in this case, and the Australian dollar is the quote currency. Yeah. This if I want to buy the Australian, if I want to buy the British pound and sell the Australian dollar, okay, buy British pound, sell Australian dollar, okay. When you combine these two in Forex, the term we use is buying. You are buying GBP AUD. Does that make sense? If it's confusing, tell me. So if you want to buy the British pound and sell the Australian dollar in Forex, the term we use is you are buying GBP AUD. Does that make sense? If I'm doing the opposite, which is selling the British pound and I'm buying the Australian dollar in Forex terms, we say you are selling GBP AUD. Does that make sense now? So, in short, if I say I'm buying this pair, automatically in my head, I know I'm buying British pound and selling Australian dollar. If I am selling this pair, in my head, I know I am buying the Australian dollar and selling the British pound. So when you buy, what you're doing is you're buying the first currency pair, which is, it could be any of them. So all the 26, if you're buying, you're actually buying the first one and selling the second one. Yeah. And if you're selling, good. And if you're selling, you are selling the first one and buying the second one, sorry. Does that make sense? So if I go back on my chart, what I did, I sold the British pound and the Australian dollar. So this is what I did. I did this. So I sold the British pound and bought the Australian dollar. Ben, is that clear? Do you understand it now? Okay, good. The market is open. It's 10 o'clock and the market is open, so you can see the market is actually moving. And let me get rid of this indicator. So can you guys see that the market has just just went on the line of my where I was supposed to get out. That's where I was supposed to get out, and hopefully, I hope by the time we finish, it will close. It will close it, because once it hits it, it's gonna close the trade automatically. So I'll just wait. But that's not what I want to show you. So does it make sense now? So when I say something like, so if I tell Ben sell this pair, yeah. If I say sell this pair, what are you doing? Just tell me in the chat box. If I say sell this pair, what are you actually doing? I want you to tell me in the chat box. I'm waiting. You're buying the Japanese yen and selling. That's it. So yeah. So if I say buy this pair, then it's the opposite. Yeah. I hope this makes sense. It clears the confusion. So any of the pairs that we have on here, yeah. Any of the pairs that we have on here, you'll be doing one or the other. So this is the Euro Japanese yen. So if I say buy this pair, what you are doing is simply buying the euro and selling the Japanese yen. If I say sell this pair, you'll be doing the opposite. You will be buying the Japanese yen and then you'll be selling the euro. Okay. Now let me touch on let me touch on Ben's question that he said about, okay, Joy. Let me touch on Ben's question about let me see your question again. About the analyzing the chart. Okay. When it comes to analyzing the chart, we're gonna go through something called strategy. So every forex trader trades with a strategy. Okay. So based on your strategy, that's what you're gonna analyze the market with. So if my strategy is we have so many of them. We have, like, I started with supply and demand. Supply and demand is a strategy used in trading the market. Okay, if I'm using supply and demand as my strategy to trade the market, I'll be analyzing the chart using the rules and all the not just rules, all the knowledge about supply and demand that I've learned to actually analyze the chart. So I'll give you an example. If I want to analyze, let me go back to this pair because I love this pair. Okay, so with supply and demand, yeah, if my analysis says I have to look at these candles, yeah, if I have to look at these candles and see how they dropped, so how it dropped so quickly like this, and then I have to look at how much time it spent here. How much time is spent there means how many candles we have in there. So that's the amount of time is spent in there. And then look the distance between from there back to down here with my risk, the risk that I was talking about. So with this risk, I would say my risk is on top here. Okay, so that's my risk. So if my analysis says that I have to check and see that from here where I am selling, where I'm selling the market all the way down here, is there profit enough for me? So my risk is £18 and my reward is 38. Is that enough for me? If it's enough for me, then yes, I will analyze this pair and then I will sell it using the rules, using what I've learned about supply and demand. So that's where you're gonna spend most of the time doing. I'm gonna show you guys how to analyze the market, what to look for, why you have to do what you have to do, and then with time you guys can actually implement your own, because there's so many ways to trade it. I started off with supply and demand like I told you, but then I ended up trading something called price action. Price action. So price action is just looking at the price, look at what price is doing, and then analyzing. But I will also add a bit of supply and demand to it. So because I have the knowledge, using supply and demand, price action, and then some help of indicators. So indicators like this one. So with my price action, yeah, supply and demand, and this indicator, I can say that, okay, with supply and demand, price dropped from here to here is good. If price gets here, my risk is there, my reward is down here, is good for me. When this indicator, when price gets here, I want this indicator to be looking down. I want it to be looking down like this. Yeah, I want the indicator to be looking down. So when all these three combine and what do I say? When they combine and it shows on the chart. So price has got here and indicator is showing down, then everything is good for me to sell the market based on my analysis as supply and demand and price action with the help of this indicator. So this indicator actually is, I'm not using the indicator, I'm using it as a confirmation of my trade. Yeah, does that make sense, Ben? So your analysis will be based on the kind of trader you are. What are you using to trade the market? And again, I said there's so many of them. There's so many strategies used in trading the forex market. There's tons and tons of them, but the best one, the best one is price action. Just look at the price, what price is doing, and then with the help of other things like I showed you, this indicator, you can actually be profitable. Yeah. So I hope I answer your question. So don't worry about the analysis. We'll get there. First thing is to understand the forex market as it is. The analysis is just it doesn't take long to analyze the market, because I can simply analyze one right now. Take this one for example, the New Zealand Japanese yen. Okay, I'm actually watching this one because I want to buy it. So with my price action, price has gone up like this and it has retraced. It has come down a little bit. So with my knowledge, I will then look at the news. I'll look at the news. Where is it gone? Sorry, I'm looking. Yeah, not this one. Okay, let me use this one. So I'll come here, look at the news like this. What news is coming out for New Zealand? Yeah, what news is coming out for New Zealand? You have what the forecast. The forecast means what the experts are saying is going to come out and the actual. So if the forecast that is coming out, yeah, is better than the previous one. So let's say this one for example, they said the previous one is 54.6. The forecast, it means what they are predicting is the same thing. Okay, if this was to be bigger than the previous one, that means it's a good news. So if I was to trade on this Japanese Chinese money, Chinese yuan, if I was to trade on that and this one was good, that means it's going to be positive for this currency, then I'll buy that currency. So with this, if the forecast is bigger than the previous, yeah, my mindset is that I'm going to buy it. So when the actual one comes out and is bigger than the forecast, then it gives you a confirmation that yeah. So let me show you last week, Friday. Okay, this one. The reason why I took this trade, look on the white one. The reason why I took this trade, this will make more sense to you, Ben. So on here, the GBP. Okay, the GBP. Why did not? Okay, Ben, are you watching? confirm that you're watching, Ben. Okay, so the forecast was, there was actually a lot of news on Friday. So the forecast, the previous, and the actual, you can see them. So this is the forecast. This was the previous, and this is the actual one. Okay, so the previous one was 0.4%. The forecast that is going to be less. That means already I knew that the British pound is going to be weak. Yeah, and when the actual one came, it was even weaker. Yeah, so this actually confirms that the British pound is like weak, 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 weak. I can't. I use weak, weak, weak. It's more weak. So it actually confirms my trade. So with that and my analysis, where I've analyzed price action, that when it gets here, chances are it's going to come down, and with the help of this indicator, like I showed you, with this indicator pointing down, using those three things it gives me confidence to actually sell the market. Yeah, and that's what I did, and that's what I'll be showing you guys to do. Is that simple, but it takes time for you to actually get that's the difficult part. It takes time to understand it, because sometimes when it gets there, um, when price when price gets up here, chances are you're gonna freak out because it will look like it's gonna go up. Yeah, it will look like it's gonna go up, and you will freak out, and then you will either close the trade or you panic. You panic and then you close it. So I did. I had. I have two. I have three accounts that I'm trading. This is one of them. There's one here. Where's the other one? There's three accounts that I'm trading. This one, I kept two of them. I kept two trades. So this is another company. This is called ETX. That's another broker that I use. Yeah, and that's the British pound. I still have two on there. Yeah, I still have the two on there. But I did close. I actually took four trades on this one. I've taken two out in profit last Friday, and I left the two. So the two, I'm taking one now down here, and the other one all the way here. And I did the same thing for the Australian Australian euro, Australian dollar. It was similar to the British pound trade. So my analysis said when it gets up here, sell. So I sold 1, 2, 3. So I'm waiting for price to come all the way down here. So don't worry, you'll get there. Yeah. But first of all, learn the basics, understand it first, because that's where most people don't get. They really want to get trading so quick. And that's the mistake I initially did. um, I wanted to trade so quickly, and that was not good. So don't get into the habit. Yeah, very interesting. You can hear from my voice. It's very. I'm so excited when markets open because it's just an opportunity to make money. But obviously, it takes um most of the trades take time to happen because um we're gonna next week we're gonna go through another topic about we're gonna learn the forex trading sessions. So next week our topic will be um, trading sessions. Let me put it on the PowerPoint. So next week our topic will be trading sessions. Yeah. Then we're gonna go through some forex terminologies. Can spell forex terminologies, and then we will go through and what was it again? Let me look at the topic. Okay, we will learn a bit about brokers. Yeah, and if we have time, we go through a bit of psychology. Yeah, so that will be what we will be discussing next week. And most of the time, well, from my experience, I would say um, when it comes to forex, this is 90%. 90% of what you do is psychological, and then analysis is just 10%. Yeah, because it doesn't take me time to analyze the market, because I can go, okay, the one I was going to share with you, where is it gone? It's on this one. Okay, this one. It won't take me long to analyze it, in the sense that at the moment I'm waiting. I want to buy this pair, but I want a good price, and the price I'm looking for is somewhere down here. Just there. I want price to come here to where the line is. If it comes there, I'll buy it, but it's just hovering around there. That's it. I've just analyzed the market. Okay, but the psychology, which is, okay, what if price starts coming down? It start coming down like this black one, and then it goes past it and touches this red line. Am I still going to stay in the trade? Yeah, and that's the psychology part of it, and that's where that's why I'm saying it's 90% this and 10% that, because sometimes you analyze the market, it will deviate. When I say deviate, I'll not say it's wrong. It will go more than what you expected, just a little bit, but then will you have that confidence? Will you have that um, patience to let the market actually do what it wants to do and turn around? Or are you gonna say, okay, I analyze that it has to touch this line and I'll buy. If it goes past it, then I'll close the trade. And that's the psychological part of it, which is bigger than the analysis, because it doesn't take long to analyze, but it takes a lot of psychology to stay in the trade. Yeah, I'll show you one. This one, my analysis told me, when I analyzed, yeah, it said that I should sell here. Okay, I'm showing you this because I'm still not perfect. Okay, my analysis told me, according to my analysis, that I should sell here and take my profit there. I'm sorry, yeah, there. And I did. I sold there. It came all the way down here, but it didn't come here. And it went up again, and again, and again. But because I have the patience, and um, I know what I'm doing, the more it goes up, the more I sell, because I know eventually, when you analyze the market and you get into what we call the big time frame. So the time frames are, is it 1 hour, 4 hour, every candle. When I go on to the big one, it's showing me that price is too high and has to come down. So that's why anytime it goes up, it's an opportunity for me to sell again. Until it gets to a certain point, I'll say, okay, now that's it. If it goes beyond that point, that means price is not coming down. So then I'll accept my loss and then close it. Yeah. And that's the psychological part of it. So again, look at that. 90% psychology, 10% analysis. So don't worry about the analysis. Let's get the psychology and the understanding first, and then analysis is just easy. Okay, Ben. So next week we're gonna go through trading sessions, forex terminologies, brokers, and we do a bit of psychology. Yeah. We have spent 2 hours, so I think it's time to call it a day, and we shall meet next week. Next week I am working Sunday. I'm working Saturday, Sunday, so we will do it on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, one of them days. So I'll put it in the group chat when we are going to actually meet, either Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. And I'll always leave you guys with a homework. So for your homework, and I'll put this in the group chat so everybody can watch it, because this is a good lesson for them to watch it. So much we've talked about. for your homework, I want you guys to spend time learning again the Forex pairs. But this time, I want you to understand the concept of buying a pair and selling a pair. So next week, I will just put it out there. Okay, today we are going to buy the British pound against the US dollar. What do I mean? And I expect an answer. Or we're going to sell the Australian dollar and buy the Japanese yen. What do I mean? And I expect an answer. And I want you guys to also find out all the major banks for the currencies. So for example, the GBP, the British pound, we have the Bank of England, the Japanese yen, JPY, we have the Bank of Japan, and for the Australian dollar, we have the Royal Bank of Australia. It's not Royal Bank. I'll find out the R, but it's something Bank of Australia. Bank of Australia. Yeah, I want you guys to find out for all the currency pairs. So all the big ones that we've talked about, I've done 3. There's 4 or 5 more. So guys, find out and then tell me next week. Alright, I will end here and have a good sleep and see you guys in the group chat. Au revoir. Bye.